What are the solutions to the equation? And they give you an equation. We have a quadratic equation. Now remember that whenever you have a quadratic equation, you will end up with two answers most of the time. And there are different ways of solving a quadratic equation. First, you should try to see if you can factor it. In this case, if you look at the answers, they have a square root, so this will not be factorable. Next, you need to see if you can complete the square. In order to complete the square, you need to have a coefficient of 1, in which you do in this case. And ideally, you should have the b value, the one with the x, to be even. In this case, it is. So we're going to complete the square. Now, if this was an odd number, like a 7 or 9 or 3, then the best way to do is just use the quadratic formula. But I do expect you guys to use that completing the square in this case. X squared plus 10x. I'm going to leave some space to complete the square, and my 2 gets moved to the right. I'm completing the square. Now, to complete the square, there's a formula that you need to use, which is b over 2, and then what else is missing? My square. Or, since this is even, we can just take half of it, and then square it. So half of 10 is 5. 5 times 5 will give me 25. Or you can just plug in the 10 in the formula and simplify. And what you do on one side, you need to do on the other side, because we want to keep the equation balanced, basically the same. We're going to factor the left hand side, 1, 2, and that's equal to 27. Factors of x squared will give me x and x. Factors of 25 will give me 5 and 5. And in this case, they both should be positive. They will always be the same because we're completing the square. So that will be x plus 5 to the second power. To get rid of the square, we are going to use the square root on both sides. We have x plus 5 is equal to square of 27. The square of 27, you can do the factor tree if you want, or we can just find a perfect square that divides 27, which is the square of 9, multiplied by the square of 3. Square of 9 gives me 3, and the square of 3 cannot be reduced or simplified. So it gives me 3 square of 3. Now, remember that whenever you take the square root on both sides, you end up with a plus or a minus. Move the 5 to the right, becomes a negative 5, so x equal to negative 5 plus or minus 3 square of 3. And we have two solutions, one with a positive 3 and one with a negative 3. So let's see, negative 5, so I know it's not either one of them. Not 23, but that'll be letter E, will be my answer.